Once upon a time, there was a monarch who had an extremely wise minister. The minister used to assert that everything that happens in life has a reason to occur. On one occasion, the king was tending to his falcons, with the minister by his side. Unexpectedly, the king's sword fell and cut one of his fingers. At that moment, the minister declared, "All things happen for the good." The king was deeply troubled by this statement and questioned how that could be something positive, given the cut on his finger. Annoyed, the king ordered the minister to be imprisoned. However, the minister remained undisturbed, and as he was taken to the prison, he repeated, "All things happen for the good." The minister's response intrigued the king, making him think, what an extraordinary man this minister is. Even though imprisoned, he still sees the positive side. 2 months passed since that incident. One day, the king set out for a hunt with his soldiers on horseback. They all entered a dense forest. While chasing a deer, the king separated from his soldiers and found himself lost in the forest. He couldn't capture the deer and, even worse, lost his way. Becoming completely disoriented, realizing his situation, the king began to search for a way out of the forest. Suddenly, the king found himself surrounded by natives who lived in that dense forest. They were members of an unknown tribe, not belonging to the king's kingdom, and they did not recognize the real identity of the monarch. As a result, they captured him and took him to their tribe. These natives were seeking a human being for a sacrifice in honor of their deity. The king pleaded for his freedom, but the king's words were not understandable to them. They began to play drums jubilantly. They bathed the king, dressed him in new clothes, and placed a flower necklace around his neck, preparing him for the sacrificial ritual. However, just before the sacrifice, the tribe's leader noticed that one of the king's toes was injured. Upon realizing this, he ordered the drums to be silenced and declared, "This man cannot be sacrificed, as he is not whole. If an incomplete human is sacrificed, our deity will be angered instead of pleased." Thus, they decided to set the king free. With great relief, the king returned to his palace, pondering, "If my finger hadn't been cut, I would have been killed by the natives." This confirms that the minister was right, that everything that happens for the good. He then ordered the minister to be released from prison, restoring his position and questioning him, "Minister, on that day, my finger was injured, which proved to be beneficial. I understand that. However, you were imprisoned for 2 months and suffered greatly. What would have happened to you?" The minister smiled and replied, "My lord, I was your prime minister and used to be constantly by your side. If I hadn't been in prison, I would have been by your side on that day as well. But, my lord, my body was intact, and if I had been present with you, they would have certainly sacrificed me. Therefore, it was good that I wasn't by your side that day, but in prison, this preserved your life and also mine. That's why I always reaffirm that everything that happens for the good." When we revisit our lives, it's common to find moments when we feel impacted by events that seem unfavorable or out of place. However, over time and upon reflection, we often realize that what initially appeared negative unfolded into something beneficial. Sometimes, our attempt to judge each occurrence with our limited understanding reveals that our intelligence also has its limits. The ability to determine the fairness or unfairness of an event is something that our minds don't fully comprehend. The functioning of the world is governed by the law of cause and effect, where good actions generally result in happiness, while harmful actions lead to sorrow. In this way, it is valuable to let go of the belief that something negative will inevitably occur and, instead, maintain the perspective that ultimately, everything that happens has a positive purpose. Want to live with more wisdom and purpose? Discover the secrets of Buddhist monks in the ebook The Wealth Through the Eyes of Buddhist Monks. Click on the pinned comment and start your journey of transformation.